So actually, if anyone been to the ExpressVPN workshop this morning, then should probably hear a little bit similar to here. So, and basically is that we are going to talk about RISC-V, and then the journey again along the so far 15 years. How bad is it? How tough is it? And then what is the prospect of it? And then we're going to show you what we've done so far. So, my name is Yuning. You can Google me, or you can Google RISC-V laptop, the world first RISC-V laptop, or you can Google the most expensive RISC-V laptop. So you should be able to find me. Right? You should be able to find me. And then we call our company called DeepComputing. So we are either make it, see whether we can make something deep. So I don't know why, you know, we made this company, we named it DeepComputing, and then suddenly this year, you know, DeepSeek. I don't know why they call it DeepSeek. So everything from that onward is asking me, and coincidentally, my surname is exactly the same as DeepSeek's founders, and also from the same province as well. So people asking, are we related? So, but anyway, so DeepComputing we only do RISC-V products for consumer electronics. So, and you will see that we make 2 generations tablet, and one 4-core, one 4-core, one 8-core. And then we have we've done one smart speaker and using the 4-core. And so far, the SoC is not good enough for us to make another smart speakers. So, and the most important thing we do is so-called modern personal computing devices, which is a laptop or AI PC, so far people call it. So, and this is the first Roma, and it's sold for $5,000. So we only make a few hundreds. So, and for people keeping it and remembers it, and we put it into a few computer museums, especially in UK, in one of the national computer museums. So it's the first RISC-V laptops. So, and RISC-V is pretty boring. So, and lose basically doesn't make money. So I make something fun. So I invested the company in making RC car, the best RC car in the world, the most expensive as well in that category. So around average selling price is around $100. And also I make drones as well, so the balloon drones. And we sold this balloon drones in, I think it's in 2004's RISC-V Summit in North America, when the government starts shutting down Chinese drones. So that's part of it. So RISC-V, anyone knows RISC-V? I hope everyone here knows RISC-V. And I, as an evangelist or advocate, and we always say RISC-V is big enough. The analogy to RISC-V is Linux. 40 years ago or 50 years ago, I think it's 40 years ago, no one knows how big Linux is, right? But now, how big Linux is? It's monopoly, right? No one can believe that, right? So, and I would say that regarding the openness, especially now, the world is so divided, you know, with geopolitics, right? And openness is one of the things that we as a human, and to counter all these divide. And same as technology. So open source and open is very important. So and hopefully RISC-V can occupy 1/3 of the ISM market. So that's pretty big, you know. x86, ARM, and then RISC-V. So if you now start working on RISC-V, and later on why I say that is a big market and big opportunities, because you can see, so far, all the big names working on RISC-V, but they are not fully invested in yet. So there's a lot of opportunity and you guys work on it and become famous on it. You know, you take a look. Raylan is one of those guys, same as me, putting Android onto RISC-V. You know, a lot of hassles, a lot of difficulties, but the journey along is amazing, right? No one can believe a few guys can port Androids, right? But that's the thing, you know. And as me, you know, as a deep computing, making laptop consumer electronics, we can do a motherboard later on for a laptop in 4 months and 5 months mass productions. It's faster than anyone in the world. ASUS, Acer, HP, Dell, you know. That's the way you can see. So RISC-V journey is actually hard. I assuming you guys know RISC-V, and this year is 15 years. 15 years. So it's not short. So and earlier this year we ratified the most important standard or milestone called RVA 23. Means that we have a standard set of instruction we can work on. And when we look back, x86 actually is gone through a hard time as well. So before they become monopoly, or now they dying, you know. So that's just like a human, you know. We grow. I think x86 is from end of 70, 80, 90, and 2000, and then reached to the peak as 2010. You can see 50 years. So it reached to the top before they forced it down. And ARM as well. I used to run Nokia feature phone. Probably you guys too old for you guys to touch it. Most of you guys are still in university or what, and never touched Nokia phone before. Nokia used to monopoly the whole mobile phone market. So at that time, each mobile phone has around 9 to 15 ARM IP inside. So ARM actually gone through from 80, 90, 2010, and 30 years for them to reach to 64-bit OS, and it's taken a very considerable amount of time as well. So, and RISC-V actually 15 years, I'm quite amazed. So, and we took us around took us now 15 years to reach having a SoC with 2 gigahertz, and then 12 nanometer, and then support 64 DDR. Actually, it's pretty amazing. So took ARM 30 years to do it, and took a similar time for x86. And for RISC-V, it's just 15 years. This is considerably half of their time. But the problem is that, and you can see x86 is, they got their hands on affordable PC, and then affordable server for the internet age. And then ARM go on to mobile, from feature phone to smartphone, right? So, and RISC-V, people often ask, what RISC-V for? AI, right? We all talk about AI now, and this lunchtime we discuss, right, why NVIDIA has such evaluations, right? Because AI is just even bigger than the internet. So you will foresee a good example. You can imagine 10 years later, probably university, 80% of the lecturer will be gone. Will be taught by the robot. And they have much more knowledge than the teacher you have now. They have much more deeper knowledge than any one of the professor. Right? Because this human just can't cope with the knowledge you can remember. Right? We forgot things. But large language model, they don't. The more people put in there, the better they are. The more better answer they are, the better brain they are. So you can see AI it's going to change every single industry, especially around knowledge. So RISC-V has to go around the AI. So, and I would say that look at the history. x86 is from US and driven by US. And I would say it's fully closed. They don't license the ISA to anyone. It's owned by the x86 ISA consortium, which is primarily is Intel, AMD. And ARM, it licensed IP to everyone want to make a chip. If you guys want to make a chip yourself, and you can go and license from ARM. And they might charge you a lot of money, they might not charge you. But the ARM successful is part of the effort globally, especially for all the SoC firm. You can see, you can count how many SoC and that ARM makes ARM. Infineon, Europe, STMicro, Europe, and NXP, Europe, and then in the US side, and there's a lot more Broadcom available, blah, blah, blah. And then on the Taiwan is MTTech, in China, Allwinner, Realtek, and a lot. It's driven by the global, the successful, right? And we call it, and the most important thing is the TSMC, right? If everyone used to be, and like Intel, they make everything themselves, even the fab. So that we'll see that ARM trigger the change of the manufacturing as well. So that's a TSMC support, so it's global. And RISC-V, original from US, so from David Patterson. We used to meet a very, every time I make a new product, I give it to him and let him feel RISC-V getting into people's hand. So from US, from Berkeley, and then that's why Sci-Fi is formed, right? Sci-Fi is still having a hard time in the 10 years, trying to prove the model is going to work. And they migrate to Europe. The whole foundation migrate to Europe because, and anything you make it in US belong to US, even open source. So they migrated to Europe, in Switzerland, neutral company, neutral land. And you will find that because of geopolitics, most of the SoC now is made by China. So I would see that Sci-Fi is the biggest customers all in China, right, or Asia. And I would say that the whole ISA, the ecosystem, belongs to everyone who knows it. If you know RISC-V, and now there's a lot of open source CPU IP, you can put it into FPGA, you can make your own chips. So that you will never be able to do back in ARM or x86. It's very good for academic. It's exactly the same as Linux. Exactly the same as Linux. Before, in the Ulysses time, you trying to make an OS is a mission impossible. But now, with Linux, you can make, anyone can make an OS themselves, if you know how to make it, right? So that's it. That's how do we make a RISC-V successful reality? I think we are getting there. I have a free milestone for our company. For example, 1 year we're selling 1,000, 1 year we're selling 10,000, and then once we hit 100,000, that means that the company is getting there, getting successful, and so as RISC-V. So we can see the problem of a new technology is deadlock. We have no hardware. Before I make laptop, no one makes body hardware. No one believe how bad is the software is, right? No one believe that. So, and the hardware guys saying, waiting for the software. The software side working on QMill, but the QMill is so far away from actual hardware product you can sell. So, and this is the deadlock cycle. Hardware guy waiting for the OS guy, application guy waiting for the OS guy, and then just keeps spinning around. You know, it's so classic. And all we had to do is that I decided to make a laptop. It's the same as the reason why Linux put it on the desktop. So, and same reason for it is we had to put it into a mass market to good for the ecosystem. RISC-V is made into MCU, microcontroller, a lot, embedded assembly, small system. There's a lot of those MCU, but those didn't help any the RISC-V software ecosystem because it's so close. It's very simple. And we try to make it into the laptop market because laptop is the most sophisticated consumer electronic. Once we know how to make laptop, we make tablet very fast. Usually, for example, for the last 2 tablet, once we make laptop, we can mass produce it within 3 months. So laptop is the most complicated one. So, and once you get it done, then you can make it mass produce. And that's the reason why we make laptops. And the other thing is that once we make a laptop, so and a lot of guys making the SoC IP. For example, right? I said to the IP Crest the other day, say, why your single core performance so bad? When software is bad, you need a very high single core performance CPU. Right? And to compensate the bad of the non-optimized software. All right? So, and that's why you can see I feedback a lot of problem, and also SoC. Most of the SoC guys, they trying to make the SoC. We saying that they don't know what they make from their target market. They make the SoC very complicated. So we feedback to them. Your SoC is very complicated. So we along with making the product, we telling all the supply chain what is supposed to be, what can be done better, and same when we make the laptop and we find it out we need a very big commercial developer system. That's what is Ubuntu is. So we tell them we need to support RISC-V, and then we have a story around that. So I talk to them first thing for the commercial channel. And Ubuntu is so classic. You have to give me $1 million and wait for me 9 months. So that is a classic business. But you know, because RISC-V, we have managed to inspire people and motivate people and to make things forward. And because it's selfishly, it's basically I tell. For example, last year I said to Canonical CEO, said, you know, Mark, you know, do you remember how painful losing money when you're making your dreams? He said, I know. You know, do you know when what year Ubuntu start making money? Right? So he knows the painful story. He says that let's get RISC-V done. So that's why we have a very good support from Canonical with Ubuntu support, with all the green light, with all the things that you never be able to do it for x86 and ARM. So that is why you inspire people for openness, especially those one doing open source. That's why we come here. We try to get people, the software guy in open source, to understand open hardware. So, but actually, what happened to it? What did I do? I didn't do nothing. So let's move back here. So, but it's very hard. But it's very hard when we piloting all the challenges that SoC guy. I give you an example. When Sci-Fi designed the IP, I used the first IP U74. So at that time, I say, I never let you to make it into a laptop. So people have different agendas. And then when the SoC guy said, when I made 4 core, I don't know what is it for, right? I don't even know what customer is. So people have different agenda and different timeline. And before RVA 23, even worse, right? Sci-Fi have U74, I don't know what RVA 20, right? And then you have P50, RVA 22, and then all the software guys just go bananas. So which one I should support, right? So Canonical say, I'm making OS. Which way to go? So that is a problem with recommendations, right? And because the other thing is that if we look at the whole RISC-V ecosystem, how many guys in Sci-Fi? You know, a few hundreds. compared to ARM, a few thousands. So how many guys in SoC guys, Star 5, a few hundred, compared to MTK, 10,000s. So people not having enough, same as me, right? I'm just a laptop company. Compare myself to Asia or ASU, man, this is incomparable, right? So because all under resourced, when we're making the product, it's stress, very stress, right? So, and that is the challenging of partnering. And same as Canonical, you know, they're already very generous. But we had to tackle one by one. So first thing, now this is example, when I close the loop, I tackle, I rather make the motherboard, we tell everybody, so that's what you're supposed to do. Whether you listen or not, it's your problem. So if you don't listen, I will not be your last customer, right? So that is the different stage you involve different partners. So by the time I make two, just now, later on show you, I make 2 generations of laptop myself, I fed up with it. So then I start making motherboard for framework laptop. So they're going to talk about framework later on with a RISC-V motherboard for framework laptop. And also, once we make the hardware ready, so now we can spin Ubuntu to full support of RISC-V. And sooner or later, when the upstreaming effort is done, and Ubuntu can publish their image, especially for RISC-V. So that is the way we tackle problems. Yeah, that is the journey, you know, along my time with the, you know, I managed to save $1 million and save 9 months' time. So we've partnered with Ubuntu. Yep, that is the laptop I used to make. You know, it's not framework. It's very painful, you know. I make linear, every 6 months or 9 months I make the motherboard. So I make this motherboard, I can put it back to here. Because the customer use this, doesn't know how to replace, there's no way they can replace the motherboard here. It's dead, body dead end. Just come in, just come in, just come in, sit down, right? Right? Even take a pictures. Just come on, feel free, come in. Don't be shy. You are the futures. Not us, we're too old, right, Ryan? Yep, they are the future. Students are always the futures. Yeah, so, and yeah, we moved on AI. I'm very, very lucky that we are in the AI age before I retired. So, and now the AI wants DeepSeek open source. The effect of DeepSeek is very important. They on top of Llama and then open source, they distill their own model. They save a lot of training resource. They make it better. They open source it. And then because they open source it, they can distill all other models as well. So you can see the models, the only way this world is just not human. The brain is getting better and better and better and better and better in the open source as well. Everybody can prove it's better. That is the important things. So sooner or later, you might be able to run your brain on your laptop very efficiently, or the laptop with better batteries and less compute powers. So we have inference, we have training, soon, you know, just like post-train. Yeah, you can do multicast. If you go down to frameworks booth, you can see the rack, right? Daniel's here. You can see the rack can run the 671B across 4 or 5 frameworks mini desktop. It's going to be better and better. You will see it's shrinking and shrinking. So one day you can run everything on your laptop. You can ask them just even better than any of the professors. It's scary. So, and as I say, you know, once we get onto, we lock out our direction of RISC-V AI, we will be all the way onto AI. Now we need to solve is our market is always open source developer with open source hardware. And then one of the open source requirement for like Ubuntu official support. We call it upstreaming. So upstreaming is one of the horrendous bureaucratic process in open source, right? So and that's why I found it out this is the most horrendous. I asked people opinion. So I asked Linus and Grass, what people supposed to come on in? You don't hide. When you see me, you have to come in, right? So don't be shy. So and that's the beauty of RISC-V. You know, I'm just nobody. You know, I'm nobody, but I can talk to anyone. Come on in, sit down, feel free. Come on in. So we have plenty of time. What we're saying that it's not crowded enough. So probably we are quite good. It's pretty crowded here, right? It's amazing. There's not actually hardware, software people do care about hardware, right? It's just not we are not advertise it good enough. So that's the beauty of RISC-V. You work on RISC-V, you find a problem, you can find the world best people, famous people help you to solve it. So I spoke to Greg, and Greg will be our ambassador of upstreaming of all our product and most of the SoC we use. And then we can manage to convince as I said, Ubuntu as well, and then Fedora and Red Hat coming. So it might not be fully accurate, but you know, here we go. You can see that is whoever work on RISC-V, don't be shy. You know, don't be shy. You are going to work with the best people in the world, and which is very open, right? You're a student working for Nathan, right? Nathan is one of the best guy, one of the best my friends, right? Right. So and you work with those coolest guys in the world, you're going to get better, right? If you work in Microsoft, you probably earn a lot of money, but you know you climb up the ladder pretty hard. So an AI PC, I think, is one of the things is all about agentic. How you're going to generate contents, right? And basically, we're saying that if you're now in the school age, you were saying that how we're going to make a better teacher or professor, right? So you can think about that. When for me, I'm living in Europe. You know, one of the problems in Europe is what? The party speak 40 languages, right? And I decided to live in Switzerland instead. I need my kids to master German, High German, French, right? Swiss French, Italian, Swiss Italian, right? And then English, and you know, mixture of English, right? So that is why I'm saying that content is very important. I want later on, well, I want my application, my laptop, my earpiece. Whoever speak me language different, I just want to listen to my English. That is, I say, is very important. And then web application, I guess, yes, a lot of agentic applications. And coding is already, you can see a lot of startup on the coding side is worth $10 billion. Whether they can get rid of software developer, I don't know. I hope so. So that means that don't be a mediocre software developer. You better be the best, okay? And same game, I think most of the game going to make by AI very soon. So 20 probably, you know, used to 100 people, probably now you need 20 people to make games. So how, and the developer, we're going to saying that we're going to do some API on the browser, right? Oh, sorry. And then we do similar to web. I'm going to talk about it in the Law of American Summit. You do watch our news. How do we do it? How do we bridge the browser can use RISC-V matrix APIs, matrix APIs and assemblies. So the challenge of RISC-V SoC, as I say, there's no unknown market, and the required power unknown, resources unknown, and not enough people, not enough time. Tell you why we allow enough time. Because of 15 years, deep computing is the 4th year. We don't break even, then we broken. So I said to Jonathan, we lose $1 million every year. If this year we don't break even, next year you won't be seeing me. Yes, and then so if you want to do RISC-V, buy some of our motherboard, buy some frameworks laptop. So keep us survive. And then we survive, SOC guys survive, and sci-fi survive. Otherwise, they're harder. So, and AI is very difficult actually. You know, before AI is those small model, and then now transfer to transformer, and then have DeepSeek, all these things they are changing. And the framework is complicated. That's why CUDA is monopoly the whole market, because all the AI framework, the first hardware they put it to is CUDA. And those frameworks have no enough resources to put it to RISC-V or other AI. Hey, come on in, you want to come in? Very busy. Come on in, people don't wait, come in. And what happened is that, so all we like RISC-V, you want to do hardware, we have a porting optimizing. That's why if you guys have trying to learn AI and become a good AI developer, not those normal application developer, gonna join us some of the open source program to help to optimize the libraries. So join our open source project, and later on, Google my name, find LinkedIn, connect to me, and then we waiting for my news to open up all the open source projects. So, and how do we make it faster, successful? We saying the hardware guy, you're using chiplet. So this is a classic. For example, for our laptop here, the second generation framework RISC-V motherboard, we have 2 chiplets. So it's one chip is here and then another chip here, and then you can both chip connected together, it becomes a core. And then with a mini desktop, we have coming with 10 of these chips. So once you have chiplet, that means that people can scale. That's exactly the way AMD beat Intel, just like that as well. We have PCIe as well. You can see this is just now, it's a 10 chips put there as a PCIe car that literally can run one car, can run, we guess can run 671B model in Q4 model. So that is, and the other thing is that you can make it as a motherboard, you can make it a PCIe car. So it's very flexible. So I'm not talking about a lot of things now. For the we partner with a framework. Then we're going to talk about framework, how good they are. So and you can see I do more promotion on RISC-V on framework than RISC-V. You can see we can say a lot of fun things. It's open hardware, right? So RISC-V is good. We partner, everyone opens. So this is the motherboard we make for framework. So it's the coming framework. It's only $300 for the entry versions. Then you can have a RISC-V motherboard running laptops on frameworks. And more than that, we're gonna make the AI PC super LLM machines for their desktop. So you can rack it up and you can make it as a professor, put it into the lecture rooms, and you do better than, answer better than the professors. So that's about it. And this is a monster machine with x86. I'm not 100% we're gonna make it yet. We might make some prototype. And you can have x86 or ARM and RISC-V at the same time. So this is a 16-inch, but it's very expensive machines. Okay, so the roadmap is just something we're going to do, and we do have 12 to 16 core lab motherboard coming out as well beside the 8 core. So look forward to you guys. Thank you.